Hello, my name is Paulo Arias with the International Relocation Partner, and every week we are trying to bring useful information for the expat community. And I have with me Muriel. Muriel is from Dirk and Muriel from the Sunshine family. And just wanted to let you guys, introduce you to her, what she's doing. I do feel I've been following her, so I'm a big fan. I've been looking at your YouTube, your content, and what you do with the expat community. And I just want to show my audience what you're doing. And I wanted to understand a little bit more of what triggers your energy because you're super energetic. And I mean, every time I watch one of your YouTube, your stories, the other day I was watching one story about you trying to pay the municipality taxes and you're trying to figure out what to do and it took you a day, right? Was it a day? An
One day,
entire
one
an
day.
entire an entire day. And oftentimes we're coming from United States, Canada, or maybe the Netherlands or Spain, and you might just go online and pay. That's it. But in Costa Rica, all of these things are so difficult, so hard. You have to go to the bank, you have to go to the municipality, you have to many different things. So I do feel the information you provide is so useful to the expat community. Your experiences, just having people understand that they need to have a different mindset when you're living abroad, is so useful. This is why I have you here today, and I want to ask you more about what you do, what you are doing in Costa Rica, and why Costa Rica?
Okay, it's a pile of questions, and I'm so happy to answer all of them. Well, first of all, touching on my energy, right? And I'm just seeing myself
Yeah.
on the screen. And I'm like, first of all, since I took the leap from the Netherlands to move to Costa Rica, and specifically this area, and I can touch on that later, I feel that my energy is just right here because I'm always outdoors. I live on a property outside. I don't even have shoes anymore. Literally, I bought my 10th pair of flip flops, and I even and my dogs play with them, and I barefoot. So Costa Rica gives me a lot of energy, and but also just doing what I love. I quit my job a couple of years ago already. I really do what I love, and there is something in Costa Rica. There's this energy field here that I feel like coming home here. Since the first moment that we arrived for a vacation with my family, my kids, even Dirk's mom was here. They all felt it, and that was the moment we decided. And so your main question was why Costa Rica, Pablo, or which one do you
Yeah.
want? Yeah,
No,
why
no,
Costa
let's
Rica?
let's start with that. Let's start with that. And I understand where you're coming from. I do have many customers. Like we move a lot of people to Costa Rica, and
Hmm.
oftentimes they are giving kind of like the same answer.
Yeah.
Just being away from the big city, close to earth, close to nature, changes
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And I want to get more out of you. More like why
Hmm.
Costa Rica? Because you could
Yeah.
you could have picked Panama, you could have picked Mexico, you could have picked
True.
there are many other Ecuador locations, but Costa Rica has become a very popular expat destination
Yes.
even within the next. I mean, within the last 2 years, we have
Hmm.
noticing 3 times more people
Yes.
moving to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So why?
Well, I love the question, and I everyone deserves to hear like my why, because there's of course different people with different reasons why. But like that very first vacation, so stated that you need to know this, I already had a solid business online. So we didn't have any jobs or any businesses like our restaurant businesses. We already replaced that in 2015 and 16. So we had the freedom of choice, but we were not expecting to love it so much in Costa Rica at our very first vacation. There was something happening energetically. There's two reasons why we chose Costa Rica. One is simply facts, and I will share them with you. And one is just a gut feeling, an energy feeling, something that is hard, was invisible. It started in the plane. We were with a lot of ticos in the plane, and we were with 5 people, and our spots were not right. So our youngest kid was sitting by himself. He was 6 or something, and all those ticos were so friendly, while the flight attendant was not very helpful. So all the ticos helped us to sit as a family. And one of the things, I know ticos are very as a family. So that was like, wow, they were so kind. And they even switched their really amazing spots to sit in the middle, to sit with us. So that was first. We didn't even land in Costa Rica. But when we touched the ground in Costa Rica, there was something happening with us. And Dirk and I traveled a lot before we um, started a family. We traveled the world for 1.5 years with a backpack, but we never came to Costa Rica before. And all the countries that we visited back then were amazing. We visited Asia, like countries like Thailand and India, and really beautiful destinations. And we've been in the south of France and Portugal. And but it was like, well, it's beautiful here. Okay, let's go home. But when we came to Costa Rica, we felt like coming home. And that was just a gut feeling. Like I asked Dirk, do you feel what I feel? At the customs, our son was sleeping, right? He always falls asleep right before we arrive. The first thing that happened was someone in a uniform said, hey, whoop, and we just could go first. Costa Rica has rules in the banks as well. Pregnant women, elderly people, they can go first. I love that. There were some things that we felt like coming home. It's so relaxed here. And then, of course, we experienced Costa Rica at that vacation, like witness the beautiful beaches, witness the pura vida lifestyle, whatever. We can talk for 2 hours about what that means, but we really experienced kindness, beauty, nature, wildlife. And then we started to realize what the heck, like within the first week of 3 weeks vacation, what are we doing in the Netherlands? We work online. We can close the laptops and move there. And the one reason was, well, our daughter is 13 and our son was 6 back then, 5.5. It was our kids. And then we thought, what the heck, we just, they will find their way. And that's where we decided, literally like this, after 7 days at the beaches, 7 days surrounded with all the things that we experienced, the nature, the feeling, the language, the food, the smell. It was for us coming home. And that's a gut feeling. And practically, we found out when we started to discover, when we started to Google stuff, oh, it's expat friendly in a way. You can buy a car as an expat. You can buy a house as an expat. There's a lot of benefits for foreigners. And that was it. We were like, okay, we were decided. And we started to work towards that move. And that was it.
Wow.
And we did it.
Now it's interesting, and we were talking about it before this, before the call. Out of Costa Rica, there are many locations, and I can probably mention 10 different expat towns that are very popular. And we know Tamarindo, we know Playas del Coco, we know Samara, Nosara is very popular. There are many choices, but there is a community in Santa Teresa and Montezuma, which is to get there, it feels like you are in a small little tiny country away from everything else. And I love to hear more about it. I mean, I visit Santa Teresa, Montezuma maybe once a year. Every time I go
Mhm.
there, I have a good time. There's some good places for you to eat, and the beach is beautiful. But for you as an expat, why you guys end up, settling down here in this location, Covano, Santa Teresa, Montezuma,
Mhm.
which you have to take a ferry. So if you haven't visited Costa Rica, to get there is far, and even it's complex. I mean, somebody could say this is a complex place to get because you have to take a ferry, which it takes about an hour, or
Yes.
you have to drive many hours to get there.
Exactly. Well, I think it's a combination. So, one of the things that attracted us here, after we decided let's move to Costa Rica, we went one time back a couple of months later to do an orientation vacation. We took a month. We had a 4x4 and we wanted to see as much as possible. But, however, we didn't see more than the peninsula, the Nicoya, where Santa Teresa, Montezuma, and Cobano are. It's like this triangle, right?
Hmm.
And a piece of Tamarindo an area. That was what we could manage to visit in August 2000. Well, what was it? 16, 17?
Okay.
Because when we came to Santa Teresa, there was something, let's call it weird. We couldn't place it. We looked around and we saw dirt roads. It was far from perfect. It was raining that day. It was semi-rainy season, right? A little dry period in the rainy season. And we were like, what is with this place? And we asked everyone in Santa Teresa because the beautiful beaches, they were stunning. Yeah, we had the ferry. It took us like a day travel from San Jose, from the airport to get here. Ferry takes 1.5 hours, but then the roads to get there, it was like, wow, we're finally here. Wow, those beaches, but wow, that's a crappy road. So, one, it's adventurous. And yes, it feels like an island. It's officially not an island, but a peninsula because it's 3 parts surrounded by ocean and 1 part to the mainland. And the province Punta Arenas, where this is part of, is a weird shaped area because the 1 part is a peninsula and it just look it up at the map. But however, you need to be adventurous to get here because it's a fact. If you need urgent medical care or you need to take an emergency plane and they cannot fly when it's very heavy, rainy or stormy weather, or you have to take the ferry and that takes, you have to cross the ferry road to get to bigger, good hospitals. So, not everyone dares to take that leap, right? So there is this type of people, this group of people who all know this, right? And there's this feeling on this peninsula, exactly how you described it, Pablo. It is a different part of Costa Rica. And I can combine it more because I am visited more of other parts of Costa Rica that I didn't visit before I decided to move here. Because we decided to move here, we combined it with the Tamarindo area. There's this feeling that we found here in this area that is not to find somewhere else. And you can give a lot of names to it. Let me do my best. So one, it's adventurous. That's just practical, right? But you're not coming here because the roads are amazing. It's the worst roads of whole Costa Rica, especially right now. I'm going to make a video about this very soon on my channel. It's terrible. I'm not proud of it. It's also not to make fun of, but it's the reality. But people are staying to live here because of other reasons. And I have Tico friends as well, and they come from San Jose, they come from other areas, and they say the same as expats like Dirk and myself and my family say. There is this vibe here and this energy field. If you're know a little bit more about spirituality and energy work, if people ask me what is that with your energy, well, I do a lot about personal development and energy work, right? I read a lot about quantum physics, about the law of attraction. And if you would dive in that, I'm not going to dive in that very deep here, but just touch on it. There is a lot of spirituality here. They call it vortexes, like, I don't know, parallel worlds, a lot of mystical things. Let's call it mystical things. And you make a picture of that the way that you want, because I know a lot of different people are watching. So a lot of light workers, yoga teachers, healers, medical specialists in the alternative field feel that here. I dove in that because I knew nothing about this, but I felt it. And it fits my personality and the personality of my family. We're adventurers. We have the benefit of not needing medical care every week. There's people, if you have like a chronic disease and you really need to be weekly in one of the biggest, very good hospitals in San Jose, you are not living here. And that makes sense. But we feel humble and grateful that we don't have that. So we can enjoy this area. But there's this, I dove in that you can read information about it, and it's not stated very clear, but that there's this layer of crystals at the ocean side, and that has, I don't know, vibrations. There's this energy field here, and we felt it. And when I start talking with all those restaurant owners, because in that orientation vacation, I was talking with everyone I could speak with, waitresses, people who I could make a conversation with. The quad rental, I found out they were not from Costa Rica either. Tell me your story. What brought you here? Why are you living here for 30 years in this town with crappy roads? And they all said the same. If you come to Santa Teresa and it grabs you by the heart, you're not leaving. You want to live here, and that's the magic of Santa Teresa. And I was like, there are also, I get goosebumps when I say this, and this is weird. There is something here. Not everyone feels it because it depends on your personality and what you prefer. If you want smooth roads and you don't like dust on your car, and you want to be able to get in the hospital whenever you need it because you need it, or you are fearful that when you need it you cannot reach them, this is not your area. But it cannot hurt to just visit this triangle of Montezuma, Santa Teresa, and Cobano and see what it does with you. And you will know it within the week. And that's why we moved to this area. It's beautiful. There is wildlife. We have, I believe, super beautiful beaches, and it's very rural because not everyone comes here, because a lot of people stay away because of the hustle to get here, basically.
To add to your point, and I'm gonna add to your point from somebody that I'm not a big believer in. I'm very practical in everything I do,
Mhm.
but I talk to a lots of people, and I talk to a lot of people that are looking to move to Costa Rica. Some of them will go into Dominical, some of them Tamarindo. Uh, in general, I'll say I talk to a lot of people that feels the attraction of being and coming to Costa Rica. They feel the energy. I even I even talked to one of them is my friend, a mover at least a decade ago, and her story was I spent 2 weeks in Costa Rica. I was trying to recover out of an accident, and after 2 weeks, I was healed. After 2 weeks near nature, near
Mhm.
the trees and away from she was coming from California.
Mhm.
After 2 weeks, I was recovering, and this is hard to explain. It's hard to explain. I mean, it's not practical
Yes.
at all. I mean, but I mean, we see in this type of stories all the time. I have another friend that I moved a couple of years ago. He, he said he visited Costa Rica with his wife, and they were not having a good, pleasant relationship on their marriage. But after 2 weeks, a couple of weeks in Costa Rica, they were feeling like they were teenagers back again, like they were back in high school, in love again, and
Yes.
this type of miracles in a relationship, or even physical, on in somebody's health tells me things. Like once again, I'm really
Mhm.
practical, but I hear the stories all the time, kind of like testimonials, and I just have to agree. I mean, if this is working for you, and you're coming and you're feeling better and you're feeling more connected with you, with your family, with
Yeah.
your level of energy, I just have to agree.
Yes.
You
And
know,
what I'd like to add on that, and that's good that you mention it, this is a specific area, and I definitely agree, or I know this is not for everyone, but for those people who are grabbed by that field of energy and joy that you can experience Montezuma, Santa Teresa, Cobano. But if this is not for you, I love about Costa Rica, it has like 11 microclimates. You can live in Central Valley where it's always cool and breezy. Um, you can live at another peninsula of Ossa. There is so much possible. You can live, if you would explore whole Costa Rica, I believe there is a part for everyone to find. If you want to move to Costa Rica but you do not like it here, there is another place that you might like it. So that's very special about Costa Rica in my experience.
now, before you move here, you mentioned that you already have a business. You work
Yes.
online, and I want to tell people about what you do, because I think it's also super useful. And this is a very common question. I mean, you
Hmm.
see on the expert groups, you go everywhere, and there's some people that they want to move, and they perhaps they don't have a job in Costa Rica. It's not legal. If you're an expat, you want to move to Costa Rica, it's just you can just come and work and get a job here. It's not gonna be
Hmm.
legal. So you have to find ways to make your money, or perhaps have a job in your own country that lets you work online. But just tell me
Yeah.
more about what you do. I know you do online courses, you do coaching, and I
Hmm.
think it's very very useful, because some people may just want to come to Costa Rica or want to leave the expat life out of maybe other
Hmm.
countries, but learning how to work online, I think is a tool that everybody should know more about it.
I agree, definitely agree on that, especially looking around what's happening in the world. The world is in transition. The world is always moving, right? And we have access to technology today that wasn't there 10 years ago, right? It wasn't there 3 years ago. It's growing rapidly, and that gives options to people. Now, it's correct that Dirk and I already had an established, successful online business, meaning, numbers are not important, but meaning that we could live well without worrying about paying bills, whether that was in the Netherlands to pay for our house, food, education for our kids. That's all we need. We earned that online, and we started basically is so before we started our business online, I was a social worker. I am highly educated, a lot of experience, about 25 years of experience with people from all walks of life, from people in jail, addicted people, like multi-problem families. Basically, I did it all with love and passion. And my husband owned restaurants. So that is where we came from. So we were in serving jobs or work, right? Restaurant businesses. We had 3 restaurants and social worker business where I did a lot of coaching. So my passion was always coaching and empowering people. I work with basically the people who were spit out by society, who had difficulties, and I coach them to find their place in society. And I always, no matter how crazy they were on paper, I always had great experiences with, I dare to say, 99% of my clients, no matter if they were convicted for crime or addicted. And I found out that time that was my passion, right? But it didn't pay my bills enough. Basically, some other things happened that brought us online. Let's leave in the middle. What I can share a little nutshell. My husband hit a bankruptcy with one of his restaurants, big debt. So he went online. And there we discovered a world. That was 9 years ago, exactly 9 years ago. We discovered something that no one ever taught us in school. And that's, oh, wow, you can make money from your computer by affiliate marketing. So one of the things that we learned first is how to sell other people's digital products online. Digital, we were right away in the digital space without talking to friends, family, and strangers, right? So basically, with, let's call it strategies, people find you, find what you do, find your. So we found out that affiliate marketing was $1 billion industry, and we cracked the code after several years of educating ourselves, coaches that we hired, and it's a long story, but we went with bumps and falling and learning, and we made it. Let's say we made it. And that gave us a lot of freedom. And from there, since people are always looking at other people, people started to message us like, but you're from the Netherlands. We didn't know people in the Netherlands who were successful online. So we always had American mentors, most of all people from the United States. So not Latin America, but United States, America. And we went to the United States a lot for coaching and events. And we made steps. So then, long story short, more people from Europe started to discover us. Like, these are people from the Netherlands. And she was a social worker and he was a restaurant owner. Like, and they started to ask us, okay, I want to learn from you, Muriel, Dirk. Do you have a coaching program? Do you have a course? And we always had to say, no, but we have an amazing course that we learned it from. So we always referred our prospects, our followers, to other people's courses. And that is how we earned our money, right? Affiliate marketing. You earn a commission when you refer people to someone else's thing. And we got that question so many times, and especially during COVID and all the lockdowns came, as if Europe was in this awakening stage. Like, these are people from The Hague, the Netherlands. They are not techie, and they live in Costa Rica online. That was the day that Dirk said, I'm going to make a Dutch course. And we already had some digital courses. So we started to help more people just by sharing how we've done it. So that was the birth of our own coaching program, or basically first digital courses. And that led to that people asked us, but I want more support. Do you do one-on-one? So, but we're entrepreneurs. We are creative people. So we said, if there's so many people asking, Dirk said, Muriel, your passion was coaching when you were a social worker, right? Why don't you just create your. That was the birth of my coaching program. So we're never stopping. We're developing way more. It's an ongoing process, but basically this way we can help more people who want the same as us being able to move to Costa Rica. And that's what this interview is about. Why Costa Rica? If you have the freedom of location and you can work from your laptop, learning the skills on how to do it, there's like several ways to do it, then you're free. You're free to go, free to be here without
and
struggle.
and and and,
That's what we
and
do.
also, you know, and and also, we wanted to ask you because we know you also have a book. To to us, you are an influencer, you are an expert leader, but you also are creating content for other people who want to come and wants to explore Costa Rica and perhaps moving. And I want to show on my screen, but just tell them more about it. This is the website where people can go and purchase your book and learn more about how to move to Costa Rica. Uh, and I just wanted to ask you, a little bit about your book. And
Okay.
we'll share this on our comments below, so people can
Uh-huh.
find you. And also we've been also putting your YouTube information and your email, so if they needed to reach out to you, they could reach out to you as well.
Well, thank you so much for that. I feel so humbled. Like, you do a big part for the expat community as well, Paula. And I just want to highlight for all the viewers, I didn't ship my stuff because we sold everything. But if I had to do it again and I had stuff that I didn't want to let go, I'm so happy that you are here, right? Um, so basically, this book shares because I'm an entrepreneur and I work online. I just make products and things and education available, and I put it available for people who ask me tons of questions about it. So when I moved to Costa Rica, tons of people ask me about it, and then as an entrepreneur, I thought I can reply every time on Messenger, and it takes me ages, and I don't have time left to spend in Costa Rica and wildlife and with my kids. How about if I just sit on this and create an ebook and I write everything down how I have moved to Costa Rica. So it's not the way. There is tons of ways to move to Costa Rica. But I described my way and I made this available for people to buy. And it's digital. So, you it was also in COVID. A lot of people were clicking on that link. You didn't have to go outside. You can just read it even on your phone. And it's the things that we've done literally from A to Z. It's basically cut in 7 steps on how we moved to Costa Rica. And that's, you can model after it or just get ideas from it and things, because there's things in there that I had to figure out. And it took me a lot of energy to figure it out. Now I do have a lot of energy, and perhaps the viewers do not have a lot of energy, so they can learn from all the mistakes I made and from that book, for example. That's why I made it.
But that's amazing. That's amazing. So if you need more information about how to reach out to Muriel, she's got this courses how to make money online, the coaching program. She also have a lots of information. I mean, the YouTube channel is, I don't know how many videos, but there are lots of videos full with information about her experiences in Costa Rica, in Santa Teresa, in Montezuma, and what's to live abroad. And this is so useful. I do appreciate your time. It's been exactly 30 minutes in this, so we hope this information is useful for the expat community. And thank you so much.
Well, I want to thank you for having me and all the viewers. Costa Rica has been amazing for my family and myself. One of the reasons is that people like Pablo is also here, right? The Tico community is very welcoming, and I am so happy to know you, Pablo, because thanks that I met you virtually through my channel, and that is also so cool that now I can also help more people, telling them you don't have to sell everything if that's painful for you. Just work with Pablo's international relocation partner company. And so this is another way that I can help more people. So I want to thank you as well for putting me in the spotlights here, but you deserve some spotlights too.
Thank you very much. I hopefully will meet you soon. I'll be visiting Santa Teresa Montezuma in the next few weeks. So if we can get together, that will be amazing. And this is
That
it.
would be amazing.
Ciao. Bye
Ciao.
bye.